We're joined by our Chris Broussard, who's been following this story throughout the year. And again, Chris, the Nets not publicly saying that they're back in the hunt for Anthony, but you and Mark Stein are both reporting that the ownership group led by Mikhail Prokhorov will meet with Anthony during All-Star Weekend. They're in Los Angeles. What do the Nets hope to accomplish?
Yeah, the Nets are saying privately that they're in this thing, and They want to meet with Melo and convince him to sign that 3-year, $65 million extension, because outside of that, no trade goes down. What they're going to have to do is first show him they're a first-class organization, because the Nets, a lot like the Clippers in the past, have been viewed as a second-rate organization, even when they were going to the NBA Finals a few years ago with Jason Kidd. So we'll have to sell them on that, all about the plans to go to Brooklyn, that's definitely going to happen, and things like that. But also, they have to show him what the plan is going forward basketball-wise. Carmelo Anthony knows if he goes to the Nets now, that's a mediocre basketball team in a conference with a Miami, Boston, Chicago, Orlando, plenty of stacked teams. So how do you plan to build around me and go out next summer or next season and get a Dwight Howard, a Chris Paul, or a Darren Williams? But more important than his meeting with the Nets is one that he's going to meet with the Knicks as well. His representation has pushed for a meeting with the Knicks owner, James Dolan, as well. And Melo wants to know, how badly do you want me? Because he's been wondering. He's been frustrated and wondering if the Knicks really want him. He needs to be sold on the Knicks plan to get him, and to get him now so he can get that $65 million contract extension. And the same thing with them going forward. Will you have enough money to go out and sign one of these superstar point guards to put with me and Amari in the future?
And you mentioned, of course, it is Anthony's camp, reportedly, who has pushed for these meetings. And so when these meetings do come to pass with the Knicks and with the Nets, in your opinion, how high then is the level of probability that Anthony is dealt somewhere by next Thursday's 3 p.m. Eastern trade deadline?
So it's almost certain. Denver, even though Melo came out recently and said he'd take a hard look at signing an extension with them, they're skeptical because the extension's been on the table for 6, 7, 8 months now, and remember, other teams have heard this. Masai Ujiri, the GM there, was an assistant GM in Toronto. Chris Bosh was saying the same thing. He left. They cannot afford to lose him for nothing. You look at the deals on the table, even the one with the Knicks, which will probably have to be sweetened when you look at the Nets deal. These are deals that can help the Nuggets move along in the post-Carmelo Anthony era. So they're not going to risk, losing him for nothing when they should be able to get at least some strong assets in return.
Again, that trade deadline now 6 days away. Chris Broussard with the very latest on the Carmelo Anthony trade epic.